In the heart of a wealthy African kingdom, there lived a princess whose beauty was said to rival the sunrise. Her name was Adanna, the daughter of the earth's blessing. Songs were sung about her in the markets, and travelers spoke of her charm far beyond the kingdom's walls. Yet, despite her beauty, her intelligence, and the endless line of suitors at her father's gates, Adanna refused to marry. From the north, the east, the south, and the west, men of wealth and power came to claim her hand. But one by one, she said no. And soon, whispers filled the land. Why does she refuse? Is she too proud? Or is she cursed? The kingdom of Ni was prosperous, ruled by King Oba and Queen Ijeoma. They had only one child, Adanna, the pride of their hearts. In their land, tradition demanded that by the time a princess reached her 21st year, she must choose a husband. The man she chose would not only marry her, but also help rule the kingdom. But Adanna was unlike other princesses. She did not dream of gold, or of crowns, or of the flattery of men. She was wise, observant, and guarded her heart carefully. She once told her mother, "I will not marry a man who desires only my beauty or my father's throne. I will marry a man whose heart is true, even if he owns nothing at all." Her mother sighed deeply, for she knew the path Adanna had chosen would not be easy. The first suitor was a mighty warrior. His arms were strong as iron, and his chest was broad. He boasted before the king's courts, "I will protect your daughter with my life. I have slain lions and conquered villages. No man dares to stand against me." Adanna looked into his eyes and saw nothing but pride. She shook her head. No. The second suitor was a wealthy merchant. He brought camels loaded with gold, silks from distant lands, and precious stones that glittered like stars. "Marry me," he said, "and you will never know hunger or need. Together, we will be the richest rulers in all the lands." Adanna studied him carefully. His eyes never left his treasures, not even when he spoke to her. She shook her head. No. The third suitor was a foreign prince. He knelt gracefully, offering his crown. "Together," he said, "we will unite our kingdoms. Your name will be remembered in history forever." But Adanna saw how he glanced at her father's throne, how his lips called with hidden ambition. Once again, she shook her head. No. Day after day, suitor after suitor, she refused them all. Soon the people grew restless. They whispered in the markets, "This princess is too proud. She will bring misfortune upon us all." At last, King Oba could no longer hold his tongue. He summoned his daughter before the council. "Adanna," he thundered, "you shame this family. You shame this kingdom. If you do not choose a husband, soon, I will choose one for you." The princess bowed her head respectfully, but her voice was steady. "Father, forgive me, but I cannot give my hand to a man whose heart is filled with pride, greed, or hunger for power. I would rather live unmarried than be bound to a loveless throne." The king slammed his staff upon the ground, his anger echoing through the palace. Yet, deep in his heart, he knew his daughter's words carried truth. One evening, when the moon shone brightly over the village, Adanna disguised herself in a simple wrapper and veil and left the palace alone. She wished to see how ordinary people lived beyond the golden walls. As she wandered, she came upon a small hut at the edge of the forest. There, a young farmer was mending a broken fence. His name was Chike. His clothes were worn, his hands calloused, yet his eyes were kind. Seeing the veiled stranger, he smiled warmly. "Good evening, traveler. You look weary. Come, sit. I have little food, but what I have, I will share." He brought her a wooden bowl of yam porridge, steaming though simple. Adana was astonished. Here was a man who had so little, yet gave without hesitation. He asked nothing in return, not even her name. As she ate, she watched him carefully. He spoke with respect, his words gentle, his laughter easy. He treated her as if she were no different from himself. In that moment, Adana's heart stirred. For the first time, a week later, another great gathering was held in the palace. The king, weary of his daughter's refusals, announced, "Today, Adana will choose. No more delays." The future of this kingdom depends on her decision. The great hall filled with suitors once more, warriors, merchants, princes, and nobles, dressed in the finest attire. The air was thick with anticipation. Adana entered gracefully. All eyes followed her as she walked slowly past each man. She paused before the warrior, his chest puffed with pride. She shook her head. She paused before the merchant, his hands heavy with gold. She shook her head. She paused before the prince, his smile sharp with ambition. She shook her head. Finally, she stopped at the back of the hall. There stood Chike, the poor farmer, quiet, humble, overlooked. Gasps filled the hall. "Surely not him," people whispered. But Adana turned to her father and the crowd, her voice strong. "I have made my choice. I will marry this man. For while others sought my beauty, my wealth, or my crown, he gave me kindness without knowing who I was. He shared his food, though he had little. He saw me not as a princess, but as a human being. Such a man's heart is pure, and in his heart, I find true love." The hall erupted in chaos. Nobles shouted, the warriors stormed, the merchant sneered. But King Oba raised his hand for silence. He studied his daughter, and for the first time, he saw the wisdom in her eyes. Slowly, he nodded. "So be it." And so, Princess Adana married the poor farmer, Chike. Many mocked her at first, but in time, the people saw the truth. Chike ruled, not with pride or greed, but with humility and fairness. Together, they brought peace and prosperity to the kingdom. Her choice taught all of New a powerful lesson. True love is not measured by riches or status, but by the purity of the heart. And to this day, storytellers still whisper of the princess who refused every man until she found the one who truly deserved her love.